Yeah.
Bing.
Somebody's drilling in part of the hotel, like over one of the interview rooms.
Yeah, always happens.
You can go ahead.
Power tools follow me around.
Okay. Jim, let's go back to a TV series, Operation Petticoat, based on a hit movie. I think Jamie Lee Curtis was one of your co-stars.
Right.
Now, how traumatic was it for you at that point in your career when that show went off the air?
I was also doing Fernwood at the time, so that was sort of a way to, get a little extra something going. The series lasted 2 years, and we were at sea most of the time. Hillbillies at sea. We spent a lot of time out on the water, wore a lot of sunscreen, and there were 17 regulars on that show. It was Jamie Lee's first show. I think she was 17 when she was in that show. As a contract player, they didn't just shoo her in there. She had to go and earn her stripes, and so she spent 2 years on that show and earned her money.
Now, you did your time as a struggling actor in New York. Was there ever a time, do you remember, that you got particularly discouraged about your career?
Yeah, I was up for 2 shows at once. I was up for a musical, and I read for Sal Mineo for Fortune in Men's Eyes, which was the big off-Broadway show that year. And I got like 4 callbacks. I was that close, and nope. And then I stayed on for about 4 more weeks for the musical, and it dumped. And it was just like, it was awful. It was awful because I had waited weeks and weeks, and it's a bad place to be hungry.
Now, with the Ernest films, I know that they've all been money makers, but I know a lot of critics seem to enjoy taking pot shots at them. Now, do you feel that maybe they ought to be showing maybe a little bit more respect, or that you haven't been getting the respect?
Well, somebody once asked us about that, and I said, well, we're not trying to do Dr. Zhivago. We do shows for kids, and if they're entertaining and the gags work, it doesn't have to be a big, heavy storyline. It just has to be funny. And so, we take it on the jaw. It's okay.
Now, how does that character translate in foreign markets, or has that been something that's only done well in the States?
No, actually, I did a commercial for Guam, for a product in Guam, and it was dubbed into Japanese. And I saw Ernest in Japanese, and they say it worked. They had a voice for a Japanese guy with a voice about my timber.
Now, with Beverly Hillbillies, now I imagine there were some pluses and minuses that you had to weigh before you accepted the role of Jed Clampett. Now, what were they?
I had to get over the fear, and it was scary. It was scary because of the saturation of Ernest. I felt it was going to be more hampering my getting that role than enhancing it. Completely different character.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know how that weighs really.
Do you ever feel that you've lost out on getting a lot of roles because of the commercials?
I'm looking back, I think it's probably had an effect on my being considered for things, but I'm certainly glad that this happened.
Now, I had a real question about the Clampett Mobile. I was looking at it, and I know people were asking you how it felt driving around town in it. But I'm wondering, how comfortable a vehicle is it to tool around in?
It's actually very comfortable. It's a 1927 Studebaker truck. And the same guy that made the one for the series made these for us. We had 2 in this. And they're very comfortable, actually. I think they've got modern suspension on them, so they're sort of a gentle ride.
Now, people who stick around for the end credits of this film are going to hear you in a whole different light. Now, tell me how you came to do a remake of Hot Rod Lincoln.
It was a last-minute idea. Penelope called or Fox called, and they said, "Would you consider doing Hot Rod Lincoln?" And I said, "Yeah, So I went over to a studio in Nashville. I live in Nashville. And we cut it and sent the DAT out. And it's on there now.
Did they know that you had a singing background?
No, I'd done a lot of musicals, in my youth, but not really a country song.